Patreon is being oddly quiet. It's Romania Black. Hey, so I am on episode 10 of season 2 of Attack on Titan. And the reason I say that is that as I'm recording this, episode 6 has finally aired on YouTube. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad it's out there now. One of my favorite episodes of this series so far. And episode 8 has aired on Patreon. But I'll be honest, episodes 7 and 8 on Patreon, everybody was oddly quiet. Like, there's been some comments, and then everybody's been like liking and commenting things, but they've been a little bit quieter than usual. And so I'm like, that's telling me that there's stuff that can't be said. And I don't consider that a spoiler at all. It's the opposite of spoilers. But that just gets me a little bit hyped because I'm like, oh buddy, what am I in store for? And episode 9, I am curious to see if that will change when the next episode 9 comes out on Patreon and then for you all on YouTube, because episode 9 is what a whopper. Holy crap. So I still have so many questions. So many questions. And now more than ever, I want to know about Titandom, about these Titan shifters, as y'all call them, Titan shifters, and how this works. Are they a different sect, a different species? Are they a different type of population? Are they a sect of humanity? What is this? So I have so many questions, and it keeps plaguing my mind. The title of this episode is called Children. And ever since episode 6, some of you have commented in the comments about it, but it has plagued my mind ever since then. The fact of the matter is that Bertolt was 12 years old when he kicked in the wall at Shiganshina. 12 years old, like not even a high school kid. 12, junior high, middle school, a child. And Reiner was probably the same age, if not a year younger. And Eren was 10 years old then. So these are children, title of the episode, that were literally destroying humanity. And Reiner's words back at the wall at episode 6, where he's like, we were children, we didn't know anything. How did they become Titans? Why did they become these giant Titans? Why did they want to destroy humanity? The thing about that's kind of stuck with me from the last episode is that clearly we don't know the full story. We, the audience, don't know the full story. This series has started out from one person's perspective, from one group's perspective, and we've been following that perspective the entire time. And now, because of Eren, because he can transform into a Titan, and he's the main character, we're slowly getting introduced into this other side of the story. But for some reason, they can't tell us that side of the story yet. So I'm not sure the circumstance. I kind of guess why, in a sense, because Eren is a loose cannon, and Eren, bless his heart, he thinks with his heart. He feels with his heart, and he thinks with his heart. And so he doesn't always think things through. Like, he was just antagonizing Ymir, and I was like, dude, shut up, and she's trying to get this information, but you keep yelling at her, and it's like, and I get why he did it. I totally understand Eren's justification for his actions in the last episode, but as an audience member watching and us wanting to know information, we were like, don't, we want to find out more. So it's interesting. I don't have many notes before we start. Just a couple from the comments that I've had so far that I want to bring up. Someone brought up on the YouTube comments a very interesting note, and I hadn't thought about this, but we talked about the red herring in the last episode or two, and the idea that the herring in the can, that Ymir could read it and Reiner could read it, and so they knew the secret language. But someone brought this up. Where would they have gotten herring from? There's no lakes inside Wall Maria and Wall Rose and Wall Sina, are there? Are there freshwater lakes? Is herring a saltwater fish? If herring's a saltwater fish, there's no ocean. Where'd it come from? And that ties back to the ED when I was like, what happened to that town? In the ED, the town that the Titans took over, what happened to it? So that kind of leads into my theory, and I didn't tell them about this in the comments, but that kind of leads into my theory that, maybe the Titans did stick around and cultivate this area, because it's kind of like the artwork that we see in the ED is all from one person's perspective, right? But maybe there's another side to the story. I'm getting the impression that there is such a bigger story underneath the surface here, and we're just now becoming privy to it. This season is mucking up the waters and making things so much more complicated. And so I'm curious if this episode, Children, is going to introduce us to that side of the story. I want it to. I want to find out what the circumstances amongst all these Titans are. I want Titan lore. I can't wait to find out more. I got off work today and was like, it's time to watch Attack on Titan. I can't wait. The other thing I wanted to point out, and someone else noted in this, I had speculated about Annie not being around at 8:45, But she was, because clearly I don't like episode 2 of season 1 enough because I don't rewatch it enough. But someone pointed out, yeah, in the bread line, after they get through Wall Rose and they're the refugees, there's Annie getting a piece of bread. She was with Reiner and Bertolt. So they just didn't use her at that time, right? Or was she not a Titan yet? My question is, did the interaction of her and her father happen before Shiganshina? I'm thinking it did. Or did it happen afterwards? So something's happened, and I'm bringing all this up. Something has happened where Reiner and Bertolt and Anne grew up. And Annie, her father knew what was going on, and he told her. And obviously Bertolt and Reiner know something's involved in all this. And my question with this is, with Grisha, is Grisha working with the Titan shifters? Is Grisha working with them? And that's where he was when Shiganshina fell? Was Grisha working with them? Is there like some inner politics between the humanity and the Titan shifters, and we're trying to like do this political negotiation, and it went south and they sent Bertolt and Reiner to go and destroy humanity? They were like, screw it, let's just attack. Is that what's happened? Because Eren can turn into a Titan, and that's changed the game, because the other side, the Titans shifters, didn't know about him clearly. So I want to know Grisha's part in all this. And I know it's going to be season 3 when we find out. I doubt Grisha's even going to show up in this season. But I have a feeling that that's what they're saving season. Who knew in season 3? We still ain't got to the damn basement. I'm going to talk about that in the recap. We're still not to the damn basement. I thought we'd be there by now. But no, that's going to be in season 3, I'm sure. Saving that shit for then. But yeah, so my big question on this is, what are the circumstances? Why are the Titans becoming these massive monsters so young? Like, what's the deal? And then there's the whole thing of Reiner. We talked about in the last episode, and going back and rewatching my reaction, my discussion of it, I was like trying to go back and see what I had already said so I didn't repeat myself in this. But it's mainly PTSD that Reiner's struggling through. It's PTSD that he is like mentally blocking out, because that's the only way he can deal with it, right? So then the whole title of warriors, like, what is this military ranking? What is this? And then someone brought out, I think Nathan Hardy, I think it was you on Patreon. The only comment made was, man, you know, the whole thing about eating, Mikasa and Armin in episode 8, they're just gnawing into that bread and stuff. And it reminded me, I told him in the comments, I was like, it reminded me of Eren in episode 25 of season 1, where he's just eating the food. And it's not lost on me that there's a parallel between the Titans eating humans and Mikasa, Armin, and Eren scarfing down the food. There's clearly a connection there and a parallel. I get that. But what's interesting to me is that according to the established theories, Titans don't eat to live. Well, humans eat to live. So the whole thing with Mikasa, Armin, and Eren eating is to survive and grow stronger. But Titans don't have to eat to survive, as it's been shown. So do they eat humans to grow stronger? Is that part of it? Is that why they're eating them? I don't know. And so I'm wondering with the ED, with the 3 little girls, if I think they're 3 little girls, that's my theory. Do they have to, is this like cannibalism? Do they eat humans and become Titans from doing that? How does that work? And do they have to do it when they're kids? Do they have to do it when they're children in order for it to work? Did Eren eat a person when he was 5? I don't know. I'm so curious to figure out what the heck's going on. But then that would make sense with Connie and his village, because those people probably didn't eat people when they were kids. So how'd they all supposedly turn into Titans? Something's amiss. I feel like I have the outside of the puzzle. I feel like I have the outside of the puzzle filled in, and now it's just fitting in the slots in the middle to complete the puzzle. The pieces are there. The pieces are all there. The outside of the puzzle's done. But it's the inner walls, it's the inside of the puzzle I don't have yet. And so I need more information. I need something to go off of. And thank you all for not spoiling me, because that's been the biggest thing. I know it's so hard. I know it's so hard for y'all not to spoil me. But I'll be honest, if I see any of y'all in the comments that are like, here's a clue, I'm going to just immediately stop reading. I'm like, nope. No. So I don't want to be surprised. I want to figure it out as I go, and then we can talk about it later. Whatever theories are proven wrong, whatever theories are proven right, I don't want to go in with any preconceived notions. I want to try to go in as blind as I can. So thank you all for not spoiling me and for being good sports about that, because if it was me on the other end, I'd be like, I want to tell you so bad. But, you know, That's what this is for, right? Just figuring it out as we go. So yeah, I thought this would be 2 minutes of intro and we're already at 10. So what can we do? But in any case, thank you all so much for watching with me. I've waited all day for this and now here we are. So let's do this, shall we? We're going to start episode 10 of season 2 Attack on Titan, Children. We're going to start this reaction here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. I wanted answers and Titan lore, but I don't know if I wanted it now. Oh no! We just got Isayama. Hold up. Isayama. I feel like Isayama's his way of dropping, he doesn't just drop reveals or drop info crumbs or thing. He just takes a hand grenade of stuff that you need to know. And he waits an entire season. He's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll pull this pin. I don't know. Oh, here, take this. And then, oh, whoa, oh, children. There's so much that happened in this episode. I'm trying to process it all, and I'm gonna go back and rewatch this episode to process it all. But there's like, I feel like I'm gonna need to stop frame by frame almost to get piecing this together, because we just got a whole hell of a lot in this episode. A hell of a lot from Ymir's perspective. Oh my God. From Ymir's 60 years. So they're not as young as they look. Huh. I have questions. I feel like this is a game-changing episode. Episode 6 was probably the most epic episode of the season so far. I mean, the reveal, everything. And then episode 9 was like, as far as character development, like getting that with Reiner and him and Eren, amazing. But this episode, I feel like, as far as like lore and stuff, is it bad that I feel sick to my stomach? Is it bad that I didn't eat anything before watching this? And now I'm kind of glad that I did, because like watching this episode, I was like, I just get a very creepy feeling, like a very disgusting, creepy feeling. Like this episode is revealing that the situation is a lot deeper than we thought, and a lot creepier and more disgusting than we thought. And I'm kind of glad I didn't eat anything, because now I'm like, it feels wrong. Something feels wrong. And there's implications in this episode that I'm thinking, I don't like where this is headed. I mean, I do. I'm so hyped, but I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like where this is headed, because it's getting into some freaky stuff. Okay, so we go back, we start at Connie's house here, and yeah, just confirming everything, that the people became, but I'm so curious, because they, what? Wait, what? So, okay, we need to establish some things. So, obviously, Connie's village, at this point, they were turned into Titans. They were turned into Titans, somehow. And I'm assuming the Beast Titan has something to do with it. So, when Ymir transformed, and the others transformed, here's the thing. When Ymir and all that happened, was the Beast Titan like at the bottom of, but it looked like a wall. So, what? Again, so the Beast Titan, I'm convinced the Beast Titan turned Connie's village into Titans somehow. The Beast Titan is involved and responsible for this. Gonna chalk that up for now. The hows and whys, I don't know. But yeah, that Titan is clearly Connie's mother. Moblet figured it out. He's like, holy shit, what's happening? I want him to get back to Hanji to tell them. I want him to get back to Hanji to tell them what's going on. But, There's a lot. There's a lot happening in this episode, and my brain is trying to process it. And so I'm sorry if I'm going to be like pensive through part of this discussion, because I'm still trying to work it out and see what the hell is going on and see what the hell is happening. So the episode is called Children, which children have a significance in this. I am assuming. We just don't know for sure. And so we go back to this whole thing where Reiner's like, is it going to be your petty life or Krista's future? You decide. And there is some things and terminology dropped in this episode from Reiner and Bertolt that I'm like, wait, what? Aaron, my dude. Here's the problem. Here's my conflict with Aaron, because I know he's like S tier on a lot of your lists, and Aaron is A ranked for me, for sure. I love Aaron. He has moments where Aaron is like, here's my thing with Aaron, and I'll probably talk about this in the recap, because we still have 2 more episodes. Only 2 more episodes, but at the same time, 2 more episodes. That frustrates me is because Aaron has these amazing moments, like the moment at the end of episode 6, the moment that we see in the flashbacks of the season. Aaron has some very good moments, but bless his heart, this boy needs some anger management classes, because I'm like, Aaron, if you just shut up, if Aaron was more like Ymir and would just shut up and listen and observe, but Aaron lets his emotions get the best of him so much that Aaron just lets his emotions get the best of him. And it's like, what are you doing? So I love Aaron. I do. As a main character, I really like Aaron. But the thing keeping me from making him S tier so far, do not spoil me. I'm sure his character will continue to grow. He's the main character. Of course it will. But I'll tell y'all in my recap of season 2 my thoughts on Aaron in full. But I'm just like, dude, if you just be a little bit more patient. That's all. Because he just gets so angry, and Ymir's just sitting there like, shut up. So it makes it to where Ymir has to go along with Bertolt and Reiner, because she's like, that's my best chance right now. You're flying off the handle for no reason. I mean, he has a reason, but you know what I mean. So then the scouts are coming, and Bertolt and Reiner are like, shit, we need to go. We need to get out of here. But then this conversation, so I'm putting down, we got humanity in one corner. Humanity as we know it. Okay, and so Bertolt asks him, he says, Bertolt's like, Reiner, what are you right now? Making sure that Reiner is a warrior. And he is. Reiner is in warrior mode. And then Bertolt says, are you saying you trust Ymir as a warrior? So Ymir may or may not be a warrior. We don't know. We don't know for sure yet. I still don't know exactly what... I'm assuming that warriors are tied to the Titandom, to Titan shifters. But there's clearly a distinction, right? There's clearly a distinction between warriors and just regular Titans. So there's this whole idea of warriors versus what I've been calling the putty Titans, just regular old Titans. And we're going to talk about that because it gets into Ymir's whole deal. And Reiner, and isn't she the one who ate Marcel? So we're introduced to Marcel. That's the guy that got eaten. So they remembered him. So Ymir ate Marcel. So we've gotten that far. All right. So they knew him. That's my point. Ymir's motive is clear. So, and that's the thing too. Reiner says that Ymir's motive. So, and we've established that Marcel was with Reiner and them. We don't know how. Once she turned human again, she probably roamed around and lived only caring about herself. So that's the thing too. So Reiner and Bertolt don't care about themselves. They're caring about something else. And that's going to tie to her eating Marcel. So I'm making a timeline here as we go because we're going to talk about that. Okay. We are going to talk about this because there is some lore, some divine, spiritual, crazy shit happening. Okay. So only caring about herself until she met Krista. Right. And as cute as Krista is, we have other reasons for bringing her aside. So Reiner still has a crush on Krista. Although, buddy, as much as I want to ship you with Historia Reiner, I can't ship you with Historia Reiner because Historia is with Ymir. So it's an unrequited love triangle. I'm sorry about you. So then he says that she's an important person in the family of the church. Funny that he says family of the church and not like the wall cult, which is interesting. if Aaron... Okay, here we go. If Aaron turns out to not be the coordinate with a capital C, then our job isn't over yet. So Aaron is the coordinate. Okay, all right, so our job isn't over yet. Having Krista with us at that point will make our search much easier. So is Historia like a compass? Is Historia going to point you to the coordinate? What? What the hell is a coordinate? Why is Aaron the coordinate? So, okay, so we're establishing that Aaron is the reason why the whole thing with Trost was changed. But something about Aaron becoming a Titan pointed that he could be a coordinate. What does that mean? So we have terminology of warriors. We have the coordinate. So, okay, a coordinate is a place on a map, right? Coordinate is a specific location, right? So he's like a point. He's a pinpoint. So he's like the pinpoint in all of this. Isayama is just dropping us these tiny little nuggets of like, yeah, here's some things, here's a conversation. And what's great about it is that what's masterful about it is that this is a casual conversation between Bertolt and Reiner about terminology and things that they know, but we don't. So we're not privy to their lingo and the slang terminology and everything. But my question is, did they learn this from an early age? When did they learn about the coordinate? When did they learn about, because they were in the Survey Corps for 3 years and there was only a year that passed. So really they had to have learned this as children. So they learned this terminology as children. This recap video is going to be insanity. I already know. I'm going to be like trying to make sense of it all. And then, yeah, so, okay. They're close. Yep. And of course, Aaron can't hear what they're talking about because he's too far away. And he's trying to figure out if they're going to leave. And Bertolt says, let's bring an end to it. The next time we come here, we can take Annie, Krista, and that back home. What's that? What's that? So Bertolt's whole thing, I don't have enough paper. Bertolt says when we come back, we'll get Krista, Annie, and that back home. So I don't know if that is referring to Aaron or something else. And we can take Annie, Krista, and that back home. And that way we won't have to come here anymore. And our mission will be over. So the mission, the whole thing about the mission, right? Okay, so the mission sounds like they were doing their attack on humanity. And from the start, I was thinking, okay, they're trying to just kill humanity. They're trying to break the gates open, let the Titans come in and kill humanity. Easy enough. And then once the Titans have taken over, I guess they were all just going to move on in and be like the Jeffersons moving on up into the wall, you know? So, okay, but this episode's making me question everything. But that's changed. But that clearly may not have been the whole thing. They were using their attack on humanity, but we're told maybe that if they found the coordinate, that there could have been a possibility of the coordinate being found to take it and run, to bring back the coordinate. Bring back the coordinate. See, I was going back to this whole conversation way back in episode 3 where Reiner was talking about if Aaron could be a warrior or not. And I think Aaron could be. He's just, they think of him as a burden right now. And their mission will be over. But here's the thing. We're getting both sides of the story. Bertolt and Annie? When we get to our hometown, tell Annie how you feel. And then, what do you mean? And he says, you stare too much. Enough that everyone can tell. Aww. And Bertolt's like, and then Reiner's like, you should go for it. You're both murderers with short lives ahead. Huh. So Bertolt is totally supporting Reiner's totally supporting Annie and Bertolt. Again, that's going back to the Aaron terminology where he says, you guys are neither soldiers or warriors, you're murderers. And I guess he's making fun of maybe, Either there's something else to that, or he's making fun of the fact that Aaron said they were both murderers who he'd kill, like, soon. So maybe he's making fun of that. But who better to understand what we've gone through than one of us? So this is bringing up a very interesting conversation that I didn't want to have this uncomfortable conversation because it's kind of uncomfortable. But this is a TV MA show, so it's kind of it's mature enough. So now's as good a time as any to bring this up. Can Titan shifters have sex? This is a good time to bring it up. And my mind's not in the gutter, I swear. But Reiner's saying, who better to understand what we've gone through than one of us? Suggesting that Titan shifters really belong with Titan shifters because they can understand each other. But I'm like, okay, the Titan forms themselves don't have genitals. They don't have any, like, reproductive organs, right? But if a Titan shifter has sex with a Titan shifter, is their baby capable of becoming a Titan? How does that work? You're getting to there's a lot of factors that you're getting into, and I'm not going to go into it, but I'm like, I mean, he's suggesting that Bertolt and Annie could get together. Like, you don't have a lot of time left on this earth, so you might as well just have fun. But is that what we're suggesting? And Bertolt seems like so flustered by it. Huh. But then there's that whole idea, who better to understand us than one of our own? So clearly there's a separation between humanity and Titandom. Clearly a separation there between humanity and the Titans. I'm going to call them Titandom right now because we don't have an official name for it. But yeah, Bertolt and Annie, I totally ship it. We're going to talk about ships. I totally ship it because it's like Bertolt's really tall and stoic and calm under pressure and cool and kind. I mean, he seems kind other than, killing people in giant Titan form. Annie is calm and cool and collected when she's not killing people in Titan form. I mean, that oddly works. I kind of am for it. I don't know. I was shipping Armin and Annie, but now I'm like, Bertolt's not a bad option for her. I'm kind of floored, but yeah, now my mind's gonna be the gutter the rest of the discussion, so just sorry. Okay, and then of course, are we waiting till night? Nope, we're leaving now. This is just bonkers at this point. And then, of course, Reiner's like, I'm taking you with me. And then, okay, Aaron gets the Razzie for worst actor of the year. Aaron, I'm sorry, but that face, Aaron trying to be sincere, and when his face has that, like, oh, don't get violent with me. Aaron's the worst actor. He's terrible. It's like, no one would believe that. Ymir's just looking at him like, are you serious, kid? For realsies? No. And then he's like, give me a break. Like with his arms looking like Tropic Thunder here with his nubs. Oh man. And then he tries to get Reiner and tries to get him down. And I'm sorry, but him fighting with the nubbin hands and telling him to die is the funniest damn thing when this show does humor, it's dark and ridiculous. And I love that Aaron's just sitting there being like, I'll kill and slaughter you, as Reiner's just holding him back. It's the most ridiculous thing. And here's the problem. This is another thing that frustrates me about Aaron. Aaron is so consumed right now with fighting Reiner and being just ridiculous that he isn't privy to most of the conversation that Bertolt... He gets part of it, though. He gets part of it. But he isn't... And maybe that was Aaron's intention. Do we give Aaron enough credit in saying he was trying to cause a scene so he could hear what they were talking about? Are we giving Aaron that much credit? I don't think so. But at the end, he finally does catch something. But, oh my God. So Bertolt having the conversation with Ymir. And Ymir's like, why are we leaving already? And they don't realize, because they're on the other side of the trees, they don't realize that the scouts are coming back. So, okay. This is where it gets a little bit crazy. Because Bertolt says, when you turn back into a human, do you remember the person you ate? Here's the thing. So, okay, so you didn't turn back until you ate the person. Okay? So, and he asks her that, and Ymir's like, I don't remember. And so, but if it was 5 years ago, was it one of your comrades? So it was 5 years ago. And Bertolt, his silence is obviously... And so here's where it gets weird. Because, so 5 years ago, so she's only technically been back to being human for 5 years. And she says, I'm sorry for not even remembering. So that goes back to the whole thing with Marco dying. Not the thing with Annie, Reiner, and Bertolt. That part I'm still unsure about. I don't want to think about it. But that goes back to Jean when the woman was asking for Marco's name. She's like, do you remember his name? And Jean's like, it's Marco Bolt. Marco. And she goes, good, at least you remembered. So there's that parallel of humanity remembering the dead. And then that's paralleling Ymir not remembering who she ate. But then it gets weird. Okay, it gets weird again. Because Bertolt, and I'm sorry, but Eren like biting the nub trying to turn the Titan. Ridiculous. And he says, it's not your fault for forgetting. It was the same for us too. Okay, so. This is where it gets freaky. And this is where I was like, my stomach was starting to churn a little bit. And I was like, wait, what? Because, okay. So Ymir turned back into a human from being a Titan, from being the putty Titan. Ymir turned back after she ate someone, but she didn't remember who they were, right? And Bertolt said it was the same for us too, meaning that Reiner and Bertolt have ate someone, and that's when they were able to turn back into kids. I'm guessing kids, or was it afterwards? Or that's part of the timeline that we're not sure about. My paper makes no sense. It's all over the place. But so the question now becomes, did Reiner and Bertolt, did they eat the kid before they saw Ymir? Did they eat someone after they saw Ymir or before? Could they already become Titans when they were like the little kids there that we saw in the flashback? Or was this after Ymir attacked Marcel and killed him? Did they do the whole Titan thing? We don't know that. But then, and she says, I see. And Eren doesn't seem to remember either. So Eren's ate somebody. Right? And she says, is that how it works? And he doesn't answer. And he says, do you resent me for it? I'm not sure, I don't know. You probably didn't want to eat a human either. How long were you wandering outside the walls for? And this, yeah, about 60 years. 60 years, I got chills. What the fuck? It was like I was stuck in a nightmare that would never end. But. Okay. My brain is mush. Okay, so they were humans, and then we're gonna get to her whole background. Something happened. We're gonna get to that, and then Ymir roamed the earth for 60 years as a Titan, and then woke up one day, ate a human, and then became Ymir as we know her. Right? Okay. So that's where we're at. And we're going to fill in the gaps here in a little bit. So if she roamed for 60 years without eating someone, I'm assuming she was probably outside the wall. Okay, and we've established that the walls have been around for 100 years. Oh, okay. And that's where the wall comes in. Okay, so 100 years. 60 years ago. So the wall had been around for 40 years. All right, so that was 65 years ago, so we're going to say 35 years. Okay, so the wall had been around for 35 years. All right, we're piecing this. We are Sherlocking this shit. We're piecing it together. All right, and then Erwin and all them, they're all getting around. So here's the thing. They need to get a place without Titans. We need to get as far away from them as possible. And then Reiner establishes his Titan form is not very fast. If he gets surrounded, he won't be able to protect them. So Which is funny because Reiner has all the armor, so I guess eventually they'll just eat through it or something, or take him down and gnaw on him, right? Because he does have those patches in between the armor that are raw, right? Okay, so we've got that. And then that's when Ymir and them notice that the scouts are coming. Ymir notices, and Aaron's like tied up and whatever. And Reiner is like, so Erwin's a tough opponent. Yeah, a very tough opponent. But Erwin made the call. Erwin's a gambler. He's like, we're going all in, baby. To screw formations. We're going to get you where it hurts. It's Aaron's fault for going berserk. Yeah. And then that's when Ymir's like, Krista's with them. So here's the thing. Ymir calls his bluff. Ymir calls Reiner's bluff. And I'm actually kind of glad she does this. Ymir is like, you said that we would get Krista safe, that we'd save Historia. You said we would save Historia. And now you don't want to do it. So we need to go get Historia, that she's come to save me. And Ymir knows her. She knows her. She's like me. She has a good heart. And so she's like, I know she came to save me. You said we'd keep Historia safe. So you better own up to your words. And of course, Reiner's like, well, shit, we can't do that. That's going to throw everything off. Funny, the plan seems to work for the most part. It's just now they've given the scouts time to catch up, and that's where we're getting the whole battle from the OP. Yeah, and then Ymir says, if we wait, what are you going to do? Have me be eaten by one of your warriors? By one of the other... So there's a difference between Titans and warriors. Yeah, okay. And so, okay. But she's like, no, I don't trust you. She's like, you promised. And then Reiner says that Historia is indispensable to them. But at the same time, I get where Ymir's coming from, because she's saying, if we don't go get her now, what if she gets killed by a Titan? You're gambling a lot on that too. And Ymir's like, and this part broke my heart when Ymir's like, I'll never get to see her again. Like, I'm sorry, Reiner. I'm sorry, buddy. I know you think Krista's cute, and I was rooting for you. But now it's like friendship with Reiner ended. It's like relationship with Reiner ended, relationship with Ymir began, because it's like Ymir and Historia all the way, man. I'm like hook, line, and sinker into that ship after this episode especially. But, so we don't know where Ymir is from, but it seems like she's from outside the walls. And then so Reiner and Bertolt are like, no, we can't do this. And Bertolt tries. Reiner's very stoic and stern and blunt, and Bertolt's a little bit more calm and is like, we don't know if we can escape ourselves, so we can't just go back and get her, you know. And Reiner's like, we want to save Historia from the conflict. You have to trust us. And Ymir's like, look, screw this. We're going to do this my way. We're going to go get her and then take her away. And I like that Ymir says, I've got lay of the land. Bertolt, there's no way he can get Krista without causing some serious damage and exposing them all. Reiner can't really do it either, but Ymir, being the little tiny Titan, can get around a lot quicker in the trees. And she's like, I'll go grab Historia and we'll come back and we'll go. And the idea of, will I have to lie to myself again? So then we get the missing gap. So things are getting filled in slowly with this whole world building. Things are slowly getting filled in this episode, which I'm so excited by. But at the same time, I'm like, what are we filling it in with? It's like, I don't know if I was ready for this. So here's a promising one. So these look like the outskirts. And they find these kids. And there's this one, children. And there's the one that's Ymir. How's this kid? And that day was the first time I lied to myself. So this guy grabbing her, I convinced myself that I never had a choice. So I guess she could have said no, right? She could have said no. This is Lady Ymir, who inherits the blood of the king. So, okay. So, all right. Trying to piece together this timeline here. They went outside the walls and found these kids, right? I'm assuming it's outside the walls is where they found these kids. But what we don't know is this inside the wall? Because if she said she roamed around for 60 years as a Titan outside the wall, and she roamed around for that long, okay, let's say that that's the case, then, and that was 5 years before she became the Ymir we know now, so that would have been 65 years ago is when this all takes. So even before then. So this may have even been before 65 years ago. She was a teenager, it looked like. Or the same age she is. She was the same age she is now when that happened. Oh. Oh, okay, because when she came back, she was the same age she was now, right? Or she was at least 13 or 14, maybe? I'm going to guess 13 or 14. Because when she came back, she looked the same age, and then she was in the Survey Corps for 3 years, so that would have been around 16, 17, which she is now. Okay. All right. So, the blood of Lady Ymir who inherits the blood of the king. So the king is important in all this, obviously. I'm just writing words down at this point. My notes are in no particular order and make no sense. As long as Lady Ymir is with us, we'll be blessed with immortality. So, really? And everybody's all cheering about it. And it wasn't all that bad. Yeah, because she's like worshipped like a god, basically. Huh. Oh my god. See, the guy in the front of the line has the blonde hair and the eyes with the big eyelashes. And here's the thing. In Ilse's notebook, the Titan that revered her had big eyes and big eyelashes and kind of looked like that guy up front. The one that when they were cornered by these guards, which we'll talk about in a minute, that shook his head like, don't say anything you shouldn't. And, oh my God. So that's why he said people of Ymir. People of Ymir. He was referring back to her. Like he told Ilse, he thought Ilse was Ymir. And he was referring back to her. Oh my God. And that's why he kept the corpse. So, okay. These people all, it's like a cult. These people all come back. And they all have like the same clothing on. It's like a religion, like a cult. And are they doorways? Or I thought in the episode they were like paintings. They were like 3 paintings. But they have her and they all revere her. Just like the Titan did. Oh my God. Just like the Titan in Ilse's notebook revered her. Yes. But then the door busts down. Okay. Shit. All right. So we got confirmation that the Titan that killed Ilse was the Titan that was one of the ones that revered Ymir because they thought she was a queen or a goddess or whatever. Okay. All right. So then these guys bust in. These guys in like soldiers' outfits that don't look like the military police or anything that we've seen before. These soldiers. Why are they busting in to get these people in the church? And then this guy that looks like a man of the church, but it's not the Wall Maria, Wall Rose thing. It's like a sapphire necklace and then like some amber or amethyst or something around his neck. There's like 2 necklaces and it's orange and blue. And he's like, she's the one who did it. It's her. She told us she has the blood of the king and all we did was believe her. But that's not, someone told her that she had the blood of the king. So what the hell? Why does that matter? And then these guys, I was clearly reminded that everything in my life was a lie. Yeah. And she's about to say no, but the guy tells her no. And she says, I am Ymir, the blood of the king runs through me, which is a lie, right? And yeah, now that guy looks freaked out, the guy looks freaked out and he looks just like that Titan. Oh my God. Okay. But then they don't, and if that's what it took to save everyone else. But then they just get stoned through the streets. They get stoned and dragged through the streets. But why? And is this taking place inside the wall? Only it's been, 65, 70 years ago? Or what? And they like stone them and throw stones at them. And then they have them all lined up on the wall. And then that's when they stab them and shove them down. They turn into Titans. But how? How does that work? And why? Why are they doing that? And then, okay, the shot of her when she's about to fall and turn into a Titan, when she looks up, that shot of her, I'm going to take a photo of that because I really like that as the thumbnail, actually. I really like that as a thumbnail, to be honest, because that shot is so good. When it goes on her, here's the thing. Those eyes, her eyes look almost green, and they look like Aaron's. And they look like Aaron's eyes. So I don't know if there's a significance to that, if there's something to that, but they looked like Aaron's. They really did. And that's when I knew this was my punishment. It's not that I was being punished for deceiving all those people. It was for convincing myself to believe, to feel needed by someone. And then her like kneeling on the ground. Oh, and in the moonlight, kneeling on the ground. It's what I deserve for continuing to lie to myself. And then dug a hole and then buried. But why? Why'd she dig a hole and get buried and then come out of the ground? And then that's when, okay, so Annie is with Reiner and Bertolt and all of them. And they say it's a Titan run. Oh, and it goes to grab Reiner and it gets Marcel instead. But why'd she bury herself in the dirt? Why'd she eat Marcel? She roamed around for 60 years without eating anything. And then dug a hole in the dirt and then buried herself and then woke up one day and decided to eat somebody. Why? Oh no! And then here's the thing. After eating him, she wakes up like she's been, but she's got the stuff on her back like it's been connected to the Titan, and sees like the big like Aurora Borealis looking stuff. When I opened my eyes, what I saw was freedom spread out before me. And she has all the stuff on her face, and like all the stuff around her. Like, what the hell? And it looks beautiful. But I want to take a picture of that too, because I can't decide what screenshot I want. But I'm like, wait, what? If there was such a thing as fate, I can only laugh at how fickle it can be. So is this, oh God, we're getting into some deep stuff. So okay, is this spirit thing, this like Aurora Borealis, is this like a god? Is it like a deity? Is it like, so if they eat a human, do they go to this thing and it's like, is it like a judgment? Is it, what? And then she like laughs at it and spreads out her arms like she's accepting it. And like accepts it all. And in that moment, I made a promise to myself. I was done with telling lies. I wasn't going to lie to myself anymore. And just I'd live honest to myself. So that's the question. And that's where she met Historia stealing the bread to give to Sasha. And she said Historia reminded her of her. So, oh man, this is like, okay. So I have some major questions. Major questions, and thank you all for not spoiling me. Please don't spoil me. I know I'll find out eventually, but, oh God. Okay. And so that she relates to Historia and gets that she's trying to convince herself something that she's not. And then I won't ask you to understand. And that's why she like holds the hand on her. Oh, you give me one last time to be honest with myself. Because she honestly loves Historia. Yeah, okay, I'm so confused. There's so much, yeah. Okay, all right. So there's humans. There are humans. There's something to do with blood of the king. I'm wondering if Historia actually has blood of the king in her. If that's actually a thing. Because I think she's important. So does she actually have blood of the... Something about the blood of the king is... I feel like there's two groups of people. There's humanity and Titandom. But the question is, did the Titans... It sounds like the Titans came from humanity. But my question is... I have lots of questions, actually. So the humans... Somehow there's this church involved. Somehow Ymir was revered as like the blood of the king, like a descendant, and they worshipped her. And then this faction of other people came in and said that you're not supposed to do that. And since she lied again, she lied and said that she was the king's daughter when she wasn't. And they took them to the top of the wall. And I don't know if they knocked him over to the side that's outside the wall, if they knocked him over there and made him turn. But what made them turn into titans? Was the beast titan over there? How does that work? Why did they just turn into titans when they fell? Why didn't they just go splat and die? I mean, if you stabbed him, knocked him off the wall, wouldn't they just go kersplat and die? Why did they turn into titans? How does that work? Is all of humanity able to turn into titans at some point? But the question is, at some point, Ymir became a titan, roamed around for 60 years, then ate Marcel. And when she ate Marcel, that allowed her to see this deity, Aurora Borealis looking thing. And it's almost like, is it like you're at Heaven's Gate and you get the choice whether you go back or you just die? Is that how it works? But she ate a human, so she wasn't about to die. So she clearly made a choice to go back. And it was like, she said, if I ever got a second chance, she said back in episode 5, if she ever got a second chance at life, she would live for herself and not lie to herself anymore. So that's what happened. She got a second chance at life. But she didn't die to get that second chance. She ate someone. So are all these people that have been turned into titans going around eating other humans to try to get to this deity Aurora Borealis so it'll let them become a titan shifter? The phrase I just said didn't sound like English. It sounded like I was speaking in a different language. So then the question is, when did Reiner and Bertolt become titans? When did they eat people? When did all this happen for them? Were they already capable of becoming titans when Marcel died? Is that what happened? Was that already the case? And did Bertolt, Reiner, and Annie and Marcel, did the four of them, because this happened right before Shiganshina fell, right? This happened right before then. Right before Shiganshina fell is when Ymir ate Marcel. So was Marcel one of the four that they sent to go break down Shiganshina? And in the moment, Ymir popped up, went to grab Reiner, and Marcel jumped in and was like, nope, you're the armor titan, gotta save you. And ended up getting eaten and died. Because technically, even though they're titans and can become titans, they can still die. Mikasa stabbed their neck. They can still, get killed if they don't regenerate. So did that happen and then Ymir just ran off? Or what? I'm so baffled. Y'all. I'm so baffled. And so she convinced Reiner and them to go with her plan. And Reiner's like, we can't help her this way. And she's like, nope. Ymir is like, if it means taking her future away, I'll do what it takes to live and meet her. She's like, I don't care about your whole thing about her future. Screw that. Your plans are stupid. I know I'm a shitty person, but I want to see her one more time before I die. And you guys don't know what it's like. I love that she says, you guys don't know what it's like. She knows how awful I am, and yet she still smiles at me, that girl. So this goes back to Reiner's whole thing where Reiner said, we can only be with people like us. Only someone like us can understand us. And Ymir's saying, no, that's not true. Historia knows who I am, and she knows I'm a titan, but she still smiles at me and likes me. And she's like, you don't know what that's like. So she's like, I will do whatever it takes to protect her. And Reiner's like, and she's like, don't be mad at me. I've got a plan. I'm not going to totally betray you. But if I stay and fight, it should be easier for you to escape. Or would you rather stay and we kill each other? And it's like, I love that Ymir's like, do you want me to prove how crazy I am? And the phrase is, you don't fuck with crazy. And Reiner's like, got that look on his face like, damn it, you're right. So, oh my God, this is like, I don't know what this establishing. It's establishing that these titans who are roaming around, we're all once people. We're all once humans. That's what humans have been killing humans this entire time. Surprising no one. But they were humans that were turned into a Titan, and they're all trying to eat other humans to get to where they can become warriors? Is that it? Is that it? But that still leaves the big questions. What's the deal with the king? What's the deal with king's blood? Why is it important? I'm assuming it relates to the ED somehow. Why was this army rounding up people to turn into Titans? Why were they doing that? Was it just church people, or is there a specific sex? What are the circumstances of why they took those people, stoned them, and then threw them off the wall? Why did that happen? Why? And then, yeah, they just show a Titan eating somebody. It's like, okay, why are they eating? Why do they have to eat humans to see the Aurora Borealis? Why is that necessary? Okay, brain melt. Romania.exe has melted. It's gone again. Round 2. I'm fascinated by the fact that they're suggesting that Eren has ate someone, because we've not seen that, right? We've not seen that. Eren talked about it. He talked about being mad and saying, I'm going to tear you into tiny bits and pieces and eat you. But we never got that far, right? He said he was going to do that to Annie, who was in Titan form then. So I guess Titans are not afraid to eat other Titans, as we've seen. And we saw that back in season 1 because they were trying to cannibalize Eren too. So, who did Eren eat? Or did he eat anybody at all? So that's the big question. Eren was only like 10 years old when Shiga and Sheena happened. If he could become a Titan before then, who the hell did he eat? When did he eat them? When did that happen? Okay, Eren's memory is really spotty because of Dr. Yeager, because of Grisha. So, okay, so when Ymir turned back, I'm trying to figure all this out. So I'm sorry oh God, I'm at an hour and a half. I'm sorry this reaction's so long, but I am trying to figure this out. So, if Ymir, when she became a human again, when she turned back again, she was the same age, it looked like, as she was when she originally became a Titan, okay? The 60 years of her being a Titan meant nothing. She went back to being a human, right? So, if that is the case, then Eren would have went back to being a human when he was like 10 years old. So, when did Eren eat a human before he was 10? That's the thing that's throwing me off, is them suggesting, because when they said Reiner and Bertolt, it was the same for us. I want to know Reiner and Bertolt's story of when they first became Titans. I want to know that story. We've got Ymir's story. I want to know Reiner and Bertolt's, and I want to know the full context of Eren, because it's suggesting some weird things that in the timeline of this, on the surface, the timeline doesn't make sense. But when you find out that Ymir's been roaming around as Titan for 60 years, and yet she's still 17 now, it's like time stops when they become a Titan, which, yeah, they don't need any food or water to survive. So I guess time would stop for them. Why does Ymir look like this as a Titan? Why do Reiner and Bertolt look specifically like they do as Titans? How does this work? So, were Reiner and Bertolt specifically chosen to... Are they different than Ymir? I have questions. So many questions. And I know they're going to get answered. But I like that I like that out of all of them, Sasha's like, tell us anything. I would be Sasha in this case. I'd be like, just speak. And I love the callback to Connie like stamping her, calling her ugly. I like the callback to that. And I like that Armin's like trying to piece it all together, being like, is she looking out for Reiner? No, she's piecing something together. And then, yeah, the only way that Ymir could get Historia would be to like eat her and go, right? And then she sees her. And she's like, oh, thank goodness you're all right. And it's like, again, Historia's smiling at her. And then, yeah, she just grabs her. And Historia's like, aha! What? And they just grab and go. You know, humanity, your side of the story has been real interesting up until this point. But I may be switching over to the Titan side and want to know more about them right now. Like, Erwin, cool. You guys are great. Everything's wonderful. Armin, I still love you. Jean, you're still my king. But I need to know more about the Titan side. I've never been so curious and hungry for information. I am like a Titan right now trying to eat people and get more info. Or like Mikasa and Armin at that bread in episode 8. I need answers. But it's okay. I'm going to get them eventually. Brain busted. Brain is busted, y'all. This episode. There's so much to think about. I'm getting it. I'm slowly piecing things together. I still don't know what this damn Aurora Borealis deity is. It seems like a force of, like a god or a force of the divine. I don't know how that works yet. I don't know how the whole Titan, like what causes them to become Titans. Why don't they just die? What causes that? How does eating a human make them come back and be humans that can turn into Titan shifters? Like, what does that mean? What's the blood of the king? When did Aaron eat somebody? When did Reiner and Bertolt eat people? And Annie, what's the circumstances of this? Are Bertolt and Annie gonna have sex? I don't know. Is that gonna happen in this show? We haven't had any romance in Attack on Titan, but I need to process. I need to take several days and process this. So yeah, I'm going to take a little break from Attack on Titan and let my mind calm down and process, but holy cow. And we thought things were complicated when we just thought that Connie's parents were turning into Titans, and we thought that was the big bombshell of the season. I'm slowly getting answers, and I'm slowly realizing I am not ready for season 3. Not at all! And we still got 2 episodes left of this season, though, and then the recap. So that recap's going to be fun. I'm going to make a damn timeline to try to figure all this out. But thank you all for not spoiling me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Please don't spoil me. I know it's hard, and I know you want me to... I know that it's so tempting to help me piece together the puzzle. But I promise you I will get it. I know I will. I have faith in myself that I will get it. It's just going to take time. So I'm curious to know, when you first saw this episode, what you thought. And if you were as confused as I am, I'm curious to know that. That would be great. But yeah, in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And I'll be back soon after I spend a while processing with episode 11 of Attack on Titan. Bye.